Hello and welcome to the latest Hall or Nothing update for 2021. I'm Tristan Hall and I'm here to talk you through some of the things that we've got coming up this year, some of the projects that we're working on. You'll have to forgive the COVID hair, I'm afraid. The quarantine haircut is still in place. I'm going to zip it all off today, hopefully. Okay, so our latest game, Veilwraith, is complete. It's ready. It's at the factory. It's waiting to be shipped out. It's Chinese New Year at the moment, so that's not going to happen until at least March. So we'll be putting the games on the boat in March. They'll be shipped over to the various hubs, 5 hubs I think we have now worldwide. And that's going to take about 6 weeks, so we're looking at probably late April before they arrive at their hubs. And then they'll have to be collected, cleared customs, be sorted at the warehouse, packed, and then shipped out to you guys, to our backers, which means they should be arriving with you guys in May this year. So it's been a long time coming, and I do apologise for the delays. Obviously, everything has slowed down to a grinding halt worldwide with the shipping industry. So a lot of that's out of everybody's hands, really, with quarantines across the world, and we're not the only company affected by it. But I know it's frustrating. It's definitely frustrating for me as well, because we obviously had the mass production copy shipped out by airmail, and I wish I could just do that with every copy of the game, but obviously it's prohibitively expensive. But I can tell you that it looks amazing. I mean, if you've not already watched it, check out the unboxing video for Veilwraith. I'm dead excited for that to land and to hear what you guys think about the game, the artwork, the gorgeous artwork, the actual system itself, which I'm dead excited about, because I want to do another game using a similar system, at least anyway, which kind of deals with the beginning of the glue, sort of where and how it all got started. And that game's going to be called Creel Manor, and that's kind of it's kind of on the back burner at the moment, because obviously we've got a lot of other stuff coming out this year, which I'm going to talk to you about in a second. But it's the one that I keep coming back to because of this semi-new mechanics. They're only a few years old that I've been dealing with these Veil Odyssey game mechanics. But I think it's dead exciting. I think people might appreciate as well a game using that system that's going to be in colour with all like gorgeous artwork and everything, because it's set before the glue descent, so it's not the end of world apocalypse theme of Veilwraith. So that'll be exciting. Next up on the list we have, so in order to keep us going as a company, what we really ideally need to do is have one game being delivered to you guys, one game being manufactured at the printers, and one game which we're raising funds for on Kickstarter or whichever platform we end up using. So we've not been able to do that over the last year. All we've been concentrating on is Veilwraith, the various logistical implications that come from Brexit and quarantine and lockdown, and shipping out all of the copies of the previous games, 1565 St Elmo's Pay, which arrived last year. So it's really slowed us down. So we're hoping to sort of get more back to normal in 2021 and try and reset the balance. So in order to get things moving, we obviously have Veilwraith is going to be shipped out to you guys, and we're going to launch the next game, 1815 Scum of the Earth, which is the third game in the historic epic battle system series. So again, this follows in the footsteps of 1066 Tears to Many Mothers and 1565 St Elmo's Pay. This one covers the end of the Napoleon era, basically 1815, Battle of Waterloo, which also incorporates Ligny, Quatre Bras, and as usual with the Hebs games, the events sort of leading up to the actual conflict itself. So it gives you the chance to play as Napoleon or the Duke of Wellington, and potentially the Prussian army as well. And once again, we have our lead artist on this one is Arcadius Banas, and he's done an amazing job on bringing these characters to life. Really gorgeous, like tapestry art. He was the lead artist on 1565 St Elmo's Pay as well, so a lot of you will be familiar with his style. We have other artists involved that are going to bulk out the rest of the work as well. And just really excited to do what I think is a really different take on the Battle of Waterloo, which is one of, the Napoleon games is probably the most covered topic through board games and stuff, but nobody's done a card game of it in the same style as our historic epic battle system game. So I'm really excited to give like a fresh take on it, and the title alone comes from the Duke of Wellington when he was talking about his troops, and I like to think of it as a kind of tongue-in-cheek comment, because obviously the redcoats, his soldiers, were key to victory. The French generals called the English infantry, the British infantry, the very devil itself. They were acutely aware of the value of the redcoats, the British soldiers, and I'm not saying Napoleon underestimated them, but certainly was bested by them at the Battle of Waterloo. And so the Duke of Wellington, when he was talking about the soldiers, he was basically talking about the French method of conscription, which took into account people from all tiers of society, from nobility down to farmers and peasants. And he intimated that it took in a cross-section of society, whereas the British Army, in his opinion, was composed of the very scum of the earth. I like to think of it as more salt of the earth, because they were, these were stalwart guys. And he also goes on to talk about what fine soldiers we ended up making of them. But it was like our other game titles, Tears to Many Mothers and St Elmo's Pay. It's one of scum of the earth is an expression in Britain, and it's one that was bandied about quite often when I was growing up. You'd be referred to that occasionally by people who perhaps didn't get on with you so well. But it's a really sort of visceral and meaty expression. And so again, I was trying to come up with an interesting title for the game. When I read that quote from Wellington, it was a keeper. What I'd like to do as well is potentially offer a expansion to this, where you can play as the Prussian army, led by Blucher, of course. And there's another expression from Wellington where during the battle, when things were going against the British and the Allies, he said to his commanding officers, "Give me Blucher or give me night." And so he wanted, nighttime. He knew the French attack would be called off, or if Blucher reinforced him, that would kind of save his bacon. So I'd like to do a Give Me Night expansion for 1815, where you can get a whole Prussia deck to play as well. It follows the same system as the historic epic battle system game, so you'll be able to integrate it with the two previous titles. Those familiar with the games will be able to just jump in straight away and get a feel for it. As we did with 1565, there's going to be loads of new mechanics, loads of new special abilities, and different ways that the cards interact, and different objectives, of course, and even the way that the battle plays out itself will be different. So yeah, I don't want to reveal too much before the campaign kickstarts, but we're launching that in March, which is only a couple of weeks away, so set your calendars, set your watches, stay tuned and subscribe to our website if you haven't already, wholeornothingproductions.co.uk. Get onto our newsletter and you'll be the first to know about it when it launches. So that's 1815 Scum of the Earth launching in March. So that would lead us nicely into, once that campaign's out of the way, Veilwraith will be landing, and then this summer, once 1815 is sent to the printers and we've got all that in hand, we can launch Call of Kilforth. So Call of Kilforth is the third in the series, the Fantasy Quest game series. So it follows on from Gloom of Kilforth, that very first game, and Shadows of Kilforth. And once again, it's a kind of a finale to the trilogy. It uses the same system, but there's a lot of things that are turned on the head for this game. Once again, if you're familiar with the game system, you'll be able to jump straight in. It's all new content, new characters, new artwork, gorgeous new artwork. We've already teased out some of the landscapes from Mikhail Gruley, who's one of our lead landscape artists. It's going to have a nautical theme, and you'll be exploring the archipelago at the south of Kilforth, so much more tropical, and there'll be ships and things. So it's going to be another hopefully cool and interesting take on the Kilforth series. Definitely for fans of the system, and there will be loads of new characters to play as, new ancients, new classes, new everything. So really looking forward to that one, and kind of taking it to its sort of inevitable conclusion the Kilforth series. So that's in summer, so please again set your clocks and watches for that one. I'd also like to talk to you, so over the past few years I've been working with my son Raphael Ninja Pup on a bunch of games, and a lot of them have kind of been throwaway or haven't come to much, but we're working on one at the moment tentatively titled The Lost Valley of the Titans, and it's a really fun game, so we'll have to see where that goes, but I'd be interested to develop that one. And he's got such a lively and active imagination. I want to harness that because a lot of the ideas that I have for games draw from all the things that inspired me as a kid, like reading fighting fantasy game books and picking up Dungeons and Dragons manuals just because of the covers, not really understanding them until a delve deep, but just the great sort of archetypal fantasy themes. And so it's brilliant listening to him, to Raphael, coming up with ideas and what he'd like to see and do in games as well. So we've got this kind of this interesting, I think it's a really cool game where you take on the role of a wanderer walking through this ancient valley. See if you can guess what video game really inspired us for this one. But you're walking through this ancient and abandoned valley, and there are these gigantic titans wandering around, and you have to basically climb up these titans and defeat them. And it's been really fun bringing that together and coming up with ideas for that. So we'll see where that goes. Hopefully there'll be more information on Lost Valley of the Titans later this year. And finally, if we get time at the end of this year, I'd love to launch Sublime Dark, which I've been working on for forever. And it grows and grows with each sort of telling. And it's one of those, like Gloom of Kilforth, that's taken years and years to put together and been ripped up and torn apart and reassembled from scratch so many times. But it's one of the most cool and interesting themes for me. And it's all based on my love of horror movies growing up. So Hellraiser and Silent Hill and all those kind of sort of almost fantasy horror like Nightmare on Elm Street and that kind of thing. It's definitely one that I want to say less and less about because I'm really conscious of oversharing on all of our games. We post all the rule books and all of the artwork, we spam everything out so you know exactly what you're getting into. And with Sublime Dark, I like to sort of hold some stuff back. So it might not be for everybody, but I'm really excited to jump into a whole new game system again, and definitely a theme that I've not seen in the market. So that's it. I won't keep you for too long. I just wanted to jump in and catch up because I know last year and the year before I was able to do one in January, one of these video updates, and I wanted to do more often, but obviously just not got my act together. But it is lovely to check in and catch up with everyone. And if you've got any comments or queries or questions you want to ask, fire away in the comments. As usual, it's usually me on social media that is responding to comments and stuff. Our friend Steph has taken over the Instagram account now, so she's running Instagram entirely. And if you have questions that she can't answer, she just fires them straight over to me so I can get back to you ASAP. Yeah, we're just hopefully going to pick things back up again this year, start the pace again, get the games moving, and bring some more cool All or Nothing content to you, because we've got so much to share. We've got ideas that I've not even had a chance to talk to you about, like Rift Symphony, my take on a sci-fi game. But obviously all of these things, they just move at such a glacial pace, and bringing them to Kickstarter and then delivering them takes so long. I kind of don't want to give information about them too early, because it's going to be so far off in the distance that we're able to actually address and tackle these games. But I'd love to pick up the pace again this year with hopefully things returning back to normal in the world. So that's all from me for now. I hope you're all off to a fantastic start for 2021. It's got to be better than last year, in my opinion. And take care of yourselves. Let us know what you're playing, and we'll see you in the forums. Take care. Oh, and one more thing. Don't forget to like and subscribe.